Now are we good?
Now we're good.
All right, so after some weird technical difficulties of none of us knowing how to hit a button on a computer, yes, we are challenged.
It's hard to do it at the same time.
That's actually true. But so we're going to be doing another kind of podcast type of thingamajig. So this time our topic is going to be a little different than a lot of the ones that we have done before. And this one's going to be on the topic of video game violence. Mm-hmm. And to get things kind of started here. Oh, so sorry. This is me, Nick. We also have who else out there?
Mike.
And Travis, the normal squad.
Yeah, the normal squad that usually does a lot of these. But anyway, So now to start things off here, one of the things that kind of popped into my head when I was brainstorming topics for a podcast is violence really necessary to make a good game? And I started looking a little more into games that I've played back in the past, and started looking at the games that really are not very based on violence and whatnot, and other ones that are based on, or that do have a significant aspect of violence. Like, obviously, what comes to mind when you think of violence is first-person shooter games, some kind of battle games, even games like Legend of Zelda have some kind of violent aspect of you beating demons or moblins and whatever. But also you have on the other side of that, you also have games like Harvest Moon, you have games like Animal Crossing, you have games like Mario Bros. Wii or something like that, which doesn't really have that violent aspect in it, and it's literally just more of a platformer type of game. And the question is, do we really need violence to have a good game? And initially what I'm thinking of is no. But at the same time, if you say no and you kind of point out games, almost all the games that you point out are more childish games and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I guess more like a Mario Kart or something like that, which can kind of be seen as childish, even though obviously we're old and we still play that game.
Yeah.
But it's if you really think about it, games like Grand Theft Auto, is it necessary to have that kind of violence to grab people's attention and keep playing the game? So I want to know your guys' thoughts on that.
Okay, well, I can start if we want.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
So, I think it depends. So I don't think you need violence in every game, and I don't think violence is necessary to make a game good. But I think in a hypothetical world where we said violence would be taken out of all video games, I think that would be a really bad thing. I agree. A lot of our video games, I think, are based on history in a way, or they're molded by it. So there's a lot of video games about the medieval times with knights, and that's kind of what Zelda reminds me of, with swords and shields and stuff. You have games that are based on war, like World War II and stuff, which is Call of Duty. And so you can
maybe Assassin's Creed 2 with history.
Yeah, that's a good example too. So there's a lot of games that are like that, and even games like Final Fantasy, you could say stem from mythology and stuff about magic and stuff, which we've talked about throughout history. Mm-hmm. And so to take that stuff out is this is going to sound very exaggerated, but it's almost taking out a part of what makes humanity what it is, because so much of our history is violence. And so
that's actually.
Oh, you can.
I mean, that's actually. Okay, so I was going to say that's actually true, because I was going to kind of build off that too, because if you look at it, if you look at what makes an animal, they say it's the 3 Fs: flee, do the nasty, and fight. Fighting is literally in our nature, but I guess and so I'm with you on that. It's literally human nature to actually have violence, but I'm wondering to what extent too, because I mean so violence will kind of always be there. I mean, even in games like Mario or whatnot. I remember, I think in Mario Bros. Wii U or something like that, actually Mario Bros. For the Wii U, I remember there's a giant fist trying to punch down on you, which technically it's kind of violent. It's not just jumping over turtles and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's
you also have to keep in mind you're technically crushing different animals in the Mushroom Kingdom every time you jump on a Goomba.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But they're trying to kill you first, which is just self-defense, right?
Of course.
But I'm wondering okay, so another thing that I guess you can go, Travis, but another question that I will pose for you guys out there is, when does it go overboard?
Okay, for me, I was never allowed to play a Grand Theft Auto game because my mom always thought it was too violent, and I never really cared because I don't care about hijacking cars and all that.
Me neither. Dude, my parents used to not let me play... Sorry, before I say this... Because I want to relate it really fast. My parents used to not let me play Super Smash Brothers because I thought that was violent.
Oh yeah, no.
Sorry.
Austin and I were not allowed to play a shooter until we were able to play Ratchet and Clank in middle school, and the only reason why we were allowed to do that was because it was Aliens, which then allowed us to play Halo eventually.
Oh,
nice.
It took a little convincing with the grenades, and then we were able to play Call of Duty because they're it's historical war.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, yay! And then they stopped
lessons.
caring about what we, poisoned our minds with.
Right. Well,
okay,
to play devil's advocate then, I guess I have a question for you guys. So we're talking about like Grand Theft Auto and Assassin's Creed and stuff.
Yeah.
But what about a game like Party Hard, which has no story except to just mass murder a bunch of people? And there's another game, I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
One of Matt's favorite games.
I know, ironically, right? The psycho he is. But there's another game too called Hatred. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one, which is similar, but it's a lot darker. Like that game has no comical undertone. The goal is just to go somewhere and murder everybody. And in that game, like, you go into police stations and, like, burn them down and murder them and go all over the place and, like, bomb cities and stuff. And it's insanely dark and there's no purpose. The goal of the game is to just mass murder, kill every human in existence. That's it. And so it's games like that, I wonder, like, those games have no historical connection.
No.
So are those types of games okay?
So a game like that, I would be grounded if my mother found out that she would ground me still to this day.
I was about to say you're
not 22-year-old.
Travis. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you're way too old to be grounded.
Oh no, my mother still threatens to ground me, so that's why I'm a good boy.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, to talk to you about that then. Coming from experience of watching Matt play the game, and I guess it's not like. Well, okay, so guys, for you guys who don't know, when we would be hanging out before recording and whatnot, Matt would just randomly take a controller and start playing Party Hard. And I really don't know why he wanted to do it so bad, but I mean, I guess he liked the game and whatnot. Maybe the gameplay is fun for him and whatnot, but obviously in my mind,
it's just a story of his life.
Oh yeah, true. Matt's just a mass murderer. But no, so anyway, like when I was again, like I really didn't like. I'm not joking. Like my parents did not let me play Super Smash Brothers as a kid. The only time when I was able to play it was at my daycare after kindergarten or something like that. I don't even remember when it was. I think it was like second grade or something like that. Where my parents were just like, "Oh, okay, the game has an E for everyone rating," and we looked at it wrong. So okay, you can play it in one. And it wasn't even that bad. It didn't like change me at all. I was still the stupid kid who liked kicking a soccer ball around on a normal weekday night. It didn't change me at all. But when you get to that level, I think is like again where you just straight up go around murdering people. That's
right.
That's where I think I would draw a line. I mean, obviously, like as a kid, I won't even play Grand Theft Auto. I mean, for me, again, same with Travis. I'm not even really like drawn to those types of games and whatnot, where all you do is steal cars and do all that crap. I don't even see the point of it. But at the same time, what's the point of playing Mario Tennis for 2 hours? I think it's more dependent on like the kind of personality that the person has, and I don't want to say like they're murderers or by any like extent or anything, or they have some kind of like deeper psychological problems. But I mean, I think they should be way more closely watched because I know Grand Theft Auto has a huge following, and I knew a ton of people in high school who used to play it. But these are people I think that have played so many games and that are searching for something else, and that's just a game that not many people would be ballsy enough to make. I guess is the way to say it.
Right.
Does that make? What do you think about that, Mike?
I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say, and like I agree in some senses and I disagree in some. I think it's hard because like you see studies and stuff that like some will say that video games make people violent, and some will say that like people that play violent video games and like commit crimes are already violent, you know?
Yeah.
And so like in that sense, I always think it's hard to say if it's the video game's fault, because like I do think games like Party Hard are just nonsense murder, but in that same sense, like it's like you said earlier, I think like we all have this innate sense of like, you know, fighters, and so I think like to do it in a video game, I think is like I don't want to say it, I think it's okay, you know, like I don't think Matt's gonna go out and murder someone. He might. I'm not sure.
He might murder us. You never know.
Yeah, it's true.
Eventually.
That's why I'm as far away as possible from him. But
I'm relatively close.
Travis, you gotta worry. You're like 20 minutes away.
Yeah. But like, but the thing is, like, I'll see people play the game online, and like, it's just dumb fun to them because you're not actually murdering people. So I think to me, it's hard to tell if someone's gonna be violent in real life based on a video game, because it's like, it's just, you know, you're murdering someone that's like just 3 pixels long. It's like. They barely look like people, you know?
I guess we're talking about like that. If they're just doing like it's like a comical way, that's fine. But when you see somebody getting like really frustrated or maybe like getting into the game, that's when you kind of draw the line. Because actually in high school, when for my AP Psych class, I did do a paper on the trends of I didn't do that good on paper. I think I got like a B+ on it, which wasn't that good. But it was actually the correlation between violent video games and whatnot. And I literally talked to a couple people about it. And I actually remember in in one of my classes, I had 2 people who were like polar opposites. Both of them have played like Grand Theft Auto and whatnot, and like shooters. And one of them, this guy, if he's even watching, I don't know if he is, his name was Matt Bacchus. He straight up said, and he was like cursing me out for trying to write this paper. It's like, this fucking BS, man. Don't even try to say that video games make you violent. Like, I've been fine. Like, it doesn't happen. There's no correlation. And then the guy next to me, who was actually a varsity baseball player, and he just goes, you're full of it. I literally started playing Grand Theft Auto and getting desensitized when I hear police sirens.
Yeah.
And so, like, I literally had these people, like, arguing back and forth, and I was just like, I don't really know what side to take on this one. It is such a hard thing to do, because if you're talking about, like, an extreme, like, Grand Theft Auto and Party Hard and whatnot, I think it depends on the way that you play it, for sure. If you play it in a more comical way and in a way that you're not taking things so seriously, it's fine. But if you actually start to think that those things are, like, what you should be doing, I think that's when it starts to get bad, and that's when you're like, okay, maybe I should not be playing this game because I'm starting to be desensitized to all this stuff. Yeah. I do think that there's a correlation, but I think it's more like in the way that you play it. Like on stream and making fun of it, that's different than actually, oh, I want to get all the objectives and actually kill these people.
Yeah,
right.
And then like randomly spawning a million helicopters just to do it.
Yeah, right. Just to get like some massive explosion.
Right. Yeah, well, and I think there's like a difference too. Like with Grand Theft Auto, like, you know, like you said, the helicopter thing, or like you just take a baseball bat and like whack someone on the street, and like in real life that's not funny, but in a video game, just like hitting someone with a bat and like hearing their like super fake video game scream is kind of funny in a way. But I look at games like Manhunt and Postal. I don't know if you guys have heard of those games, where like you actually torture people, and like you see them screaming and begging for their life, and you do things like slowly chop their head off or like tie them up and do like awful things, and it's like games like that, I wonder, like, I could not sit there and enjoy that, you know?
No.
Like, even as a joke, I don't want to look at that stuff. So games like that, I definitely question a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Like, unless you're playing it just to, like, experience the, you know, the fact that this game was made, if you're, like, a video game history person, you know? Kind of like the people that watch stuff like Human Centipede or whatever, but, like, to play something like that for fun is beyond me.
Yeah, Human Centipede, South Park. But yeah, Travis, what do you have to say about it? I know you've, I know we kind of took over for a little while.
For me, it's like, I don't really care how much violence is actually in the game, because if I feel like it's too much for me, then I just won't play it, because obviously everyone has different tastes anyway. So if someone thinks that they can develop it and someone will like it and then people will actually play it, then fine. I know when I was in high school and I was addicted to, for just a little bit, the Call of Duty online play, I did become a little angrier. I didn't like go out and punch people in the face or, you know, want to do a mass shooting or anything, but I definitely yelled a lot more, and I recognized that, so then I toned it down. But
yeah, so I think it's hard for people who don't realize the prolonged exposure that they have to the game.
Right. Yeah. So I guess it does affect you a little bit, because like I was trying to, you know, get the best KD and all that crap.
I think it also depends what age you are too.
That's true.
Yeah,
I was
if you're already a
teenager.
Well, yeah, because if your brain's still developing too, I guess it's kind of worse for that.
Right.
But I don't know. I think the thing that really like got me was when the guy, my buddy Brandon, straight up said I was starting to get desensitized to police sirens, which is like, that's not good.
Yeah. How old was he? Just curious when he said that.
17 or 18. This was when we were seniors in high school when I was writing this paper.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So yeah, it was like a 6-page paper. I can see if I still have it. It's probably written really terribly and has really bad sightings of whatnot. But I just remember writing it, so that's why I thought of this topic, and I was like, I'm curious to see what you guys thought.
Yeah. No, that is interesting.
Yeah, they have proven a correlation between the two, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because you also hear on the news every now and then, like, someone will shoot, and then they'll be like, yeah, because I learned it from this video game. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like
there's
a guy
on that, but same end.
Yeah.
Like, there might be a correlation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Either way, I don't know for sure, but, like, it's just kind of interesting to see. But anyway, yeah, so sorry, if you guys want to have any closing thoughts, otherwise I guess we'll close this discussion.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess for my closing thoughts, you know, I think what we've been saying this whole time is I think as far as like the crime stuff goes, I think it depends more on the person. I think video games have always been more of a catalyst, if anything.
Yeah.
Because to me, like, games like Grand Theft Auto and Party Hard, I could see them being just like, you know, senseless fun because it's not real people. And so I think it's almost kind of a good outlet because nobody wants to go murder someone real, but In a video game, it's, you know, a lot funnier.
Speak
and like
for yourself, Mike.
I don't know what you do in your spare time, Travis.
I have access to needles. That's all I can say.
Oh, we'll stop.
A needler like in Halo?
Sure.
There we go.
But yeah, are you good, Mike?
Yeah.
What about you, Travis?
You know, same thoughts as him, where, like, the more violent games you play, you'll probably be more likely to have some sort of violent, you know, reaction of some sort. And then I should also probably move away, since you bring up a great point that I live close to Matt, and he likes to
Too close.
Too close.
If you ever party too hard, man, you better watch out for Matt.
Yeah, really.
Oh my god, I'm partying tonight. What am I going to do?
All right, so I guess it closes our discussion. Please let us know what you think in the comment section below. Like, comment, and subscribe, all the normal crap that you would hear at the end of a YouTube channel or YouTube video. Whatever. Yeah, thanks for sticking with us.
See ya.
Bye.